Most men believe in forgiveness. They usually just don't believe it applies to them. For those who don't know, we have Dalton, amazing athlete. He's a former MLB player.
Yeah, I made it to the MLB, but I didn't play as long as I wanted to. I look at my career and then I think to myself, yeah, it was great, but did I play as long as I wanted to? No, I didn't. I gave everything I had, and I think that processing everything that happened over 12 years is important in like not only my career, but in my life after baseball too.
The thought of I gave it my all is never good enough. For a moment with the information I had, with what I knew at that time, I did my best, still doesn't feel good enough because the results.
Every day we make choices. We can go one way or the other. And if we go this way, we can't look back and say we should have went the other way. Just live with that decision that you make. What people misunderstand is the word sacrifice. Like sacrifice doesn't mean losing yourself.
That's
you know, like it means like, yeah, there might be a time where you should go to this party and you know what, I'm gonna stay in because I got this important meeting. That's sacrificing, but that's not saying I shouldn't go on this trip. I shouldn't spend this money because I don't want this or whatever.
I think once you get to like the repercussion phase or a phase of like should have known better, I think that haunts you a lot more. For example, I actually never really told anybody the story.
Welcome back to another episode of He's a Guy podcast. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. There's going to be a little button right here. Press that button. Subscribed. Some men don't hate themselves because they failed. They hate themselves because they believe they didn't try hard enough. Most men believe in forgiveness. They usually just don't believe it applies to them. Carrying past decisions like life sentences long after the punishment was over. Today, we discuss why man can't forgive himself and what it's costing them. Gentlemen, I welcome you to a serious episode here.
It's real talk right now, bro.
For those who don't know, we have Dalton.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Toronto legend.
Come on, yo.
Yeah, man, I'm here, bro. Thanks for having me.
Quick little short story here for you guys. Dalton, amazing athlete. He's a former MLB player. You know, what are you up to now, man?
I'm chilling, bro. I'm actually in policing now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's a complete 180, bro. But they always said that sports is similar to policing. It's absolutely not. I'm gonna bro.
If you end the day, I was gonna be like,
nah, bro. Nah,
it's a recruiting tactic?
Yeah, that's what they said, bro. They're like, oh, man, your team environment. No, bro, no. You're chasing some man down the street, bro, hopping fences, bro. No, it's not. No, it's not, bro. Come on, dude. Come on, bro. It's wild, bro. It's wild. It's like so many stories already, but it's what I want people to know is more than just what people think. Like it's more than just like tickets and stopping people, arresting people. Like there's a lot of like advice given, you know, talking people off a ledge. Like there's some mental health stuff going on, right? Like it's crazy out here, man, the things that people go through. And you really see that side of it, and a lot of people don't see that side of it, right? So you don't want a pat on the back, but it's very eye-opening to like, you know, when shit really hits the fan, like what's going on in people's lives, man, and just people are going through it. They're going through it, but it's. I'm happy that I had the baseball aspect because it gives them perspective, and I feel like they kind of listen to that.
Makes you relatable.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I've had people come up to me. I'm doing CPR, slap me on the back, be like, "Yo, I got your baseball card." I'm like, "Yo, chill." They're like, I'm working here. Yeah, like I'm trying to save a life here, bro. I'll get you after. You know what I mean? But like, man, it's crazy, man. I do enjoy it. Like some days are better than others, but that's just life, right?
Yeah. I heard that. Yeah. I hear that. With today's themes, we're going to be speaking a little bit around conditional worth versus performance culture, shame versus guilt, emotional illiteracy and suppression, unspoken moral codes, and that alike, you know? So first question I kind of want to jump out to you guys there is, why do you guys think men can't forgive themselves?
If I had to answer that, just speaking off my past experiences, I think once you get to like the repercussion phase or a phase of like you should have known better, I think that haunts you a lot more. I know for like situations like for me, for example, I actually never really told anybody the story. I was trying out for Team Canada for basketball, and Coach Rowan Barrett was like really going hard for me. He didn't really send me he told me where the tryout was, but he never really told me the time. But I kind of used that as an excuse because I felt like I was on the team. I went out, did whatever I had to do, didn't go to the first day. Went to the second day, and ultimately didn't end up making the team. And I think at this point in my life, it's like, it's something that's always haunted me because I should have just known better. I shouldn't have put myself in a situation to, I guess that was like detrimental to me making the team or bettering myself. So I feel like that's something that I've always kind of never really let go, but it's just knowing better. So I want to say.
Do you feel like that moment in time is kind of what blossomed into other things, like in terms of opportunities missed or opportunities gained?
100%. I think you learn from the situation. You learn how to, and you're young, right? So I want to say, like, definitely when it came to playing basketball, I never had guidance. Like, we used to go to the gym and put up shots between each other. Nobody really showed us what training looked like. So I say that to say, you know, the situation kind of primed me to realize, like, not everything's sweet. It's not always going to happen the way you expect it. And regardless of anything, you have to do the work.
Yeah, I think too, I can add to that. I think too, when it comes to sports, what happens is that unless we're all Hall of Fame basketball players, baseball players, we're all gonna think like, what if, right? And I think as men, like some of us, like it took me a long time to like learn emotional intelligence and like understanding, okay, this is how I feel in this moment, and like understanding those feelings. And like if something doesn't work out, that's what I wanted to do in that moment. And then I had to learn to forgive myself if it didn't work out. Because what happens is that we only judge it based off the result, not how we actually felt in that moment. So when we do something that turns out to be wrong, we're like, man, I shouldn't have done that. But when you ask that person in that moment, like you ask yourself, be like, this is what I wanted to do. And I think that's where men have to like live with that. And we just have to understand that every day we make choices. We can go one way or the other. And if we go this way, we can't look back and say we should have went the other way. Just live with that decision that you make, you know?
Yeah. To add to, like, even what Dalton's saying is really registering with me, because it's like the thought of I gave it my all is never good enough for us. Like at that moment, with the information I had, with what I knew at that time, I did my best. Still doesn't feel good enough because the result. And I think about that so many times in my life where it's like, yes, of course, in sports it happens all the time. But even I was talking to my therapist literally about this yesterday. And there's this feeling that I've felt even up until now that you're running out of time. Like you need to figure it out. You need to like really make it in something, and you're running out of time. And I look back sometimes and be like, yo, if I would have just like did this a little better. Like when I won Big Brother, if I knew what I really wanted to do beforehand and I had set it up nicely, that would be set for, like, you're thinking of all these different scenarios that you could have done to be on, and that you're never working hard enough, and that you're never where you want to be yet. And that leads you to a life of just chasing. And I feel like men have this way of just being like, you gotta be better, you gotta disappear, you gotta lock in, and some of that's true, but sometimes we do it to our own detriment. We're not even living life anymore. And sometimes that's why, like, I find like when we don't forgive ourselves, we don't enjoy life. And sometimes I even see it with my dad. Like, as soon as I see him, sometimes it's like, I feel like he's carrying like guilt and shame. Like, yo, I should have been here. I should have had this. And it's like, bro, like, it's okay. Like, you can turn it around right now. And sometimes we forget that. We can change our life tomorrow. And also we forget that, like, forgive yourself for like the mistakes you've made or the things you've learned. Because the lessons are learnings if you take them that way. But if you hold on to the shame, you just you'll keep feeling bad about yourself, and you'll keep bringing those sad results.
What I want everybody to answer this going around the room. What is one achievement that still doesn't feel like enough?
I mean, I made it to the MLB, but I didn't play as long as I wanted to, you know? Like, I look at my career and then I think to myself, yeah, it was great. You know, I was one of 20,000 people in the history of the MLB to ever make it. But did I play as long as I wanted to? Did I play for 10 years? Did I make, $100 million? No, I didn't. And that's part of the feelings that I've always felt, in the sense that, like, I had to forgive myself. I knew that when I first got drafted, they were always like, your window's closing now. Like you got drafted, there's gonna be another draft next year, another draft next year. It's about separating yourself. So I was able to separate myself. And things happen along the way that were not in my control. And I think that was a big part of me being able to move forward and being able to accept what kind of like how my career unfolded with injuries or whatever else. But you're always gonna ask what if. But I said to myself, like in sports, people control your destiny to an extent. You can only do so much, but there's certain people got to like you to give you those opportunities, right? So when you realize that some things in life are up to you and then some things are not, they're not within your control, then you can able to accept it and move on. But I played with guys that never made to MLB, and I played with guys that were all-stars, and then I'm just somewhere in the middle. And I think it's just understanding that I put the time in. When people weren't there, I was working, off season, during the season. My hands were bleeding, man, because I was swinging the bat so much. But, all in all, I can look back and be like you said, I gave everything I had. And I think that, me being real with myself and actually sitting down and like processing everything that happened over 12 years is important in like not only my career, but in my life after baseball too. And just understanding, I was a baseball player, but that's not who I am anymore, like.
How long did it take for you to come to that realization of the realization that, hey, I reached a point, this is what it is, and that's okay? Or have you ever reached that point?
I think like maybe like a year or two after I was done playing, I kind of realized, everybody says, oh, get 1% better every day. Well, 100 days, you're as good as you can get. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's not a real.
I never thought about it like that. That's
bro.
fact.
I'm like, it is what it is, and like,
I never thought about it like that,
bro. 1% better. I'm like, it's been 100 days, bro. You should be as good as you're gonna get. But anyways, it just comes to that point where like, you just plateau as a person. You just can't get any better than that, And I heard Tom Brady talking about it too. He's like, you can't go from being a good receiver to an amazing receiver. Like you can do little bits that make you a little bit better, but you can't like go. It's very rare for a guy to go from like a marginal player to like an all-star top 5 in the league, So when you realize that, like I had to look myself in the mirror and be like, you know what? I'm not going to hit 30 home runs. I'm not going to, do all these things that maybe people thought I could do. And it's just like, you know what? I'm a role player. I'm just going to play the role the best I can, Like I just I always said to myself, if I get that opportunity, I'll be ready for it. But the opportunity also never really presented itself to me. So that goes back to what I was saying before. It's just kind of you play the cards you're dealt, And then I just said to myself, you know what? Like I did everything I could. I maximized the opportunities I had, and that was it. And you could be content with that as long as you're just real with yourself. But if you're going through that process and you left things on the table, that's when you feel regret. That's when you feel sorry for yourself, right? But if you did everything, then man, you can move on and with your head held high, man.
Were you always at peace with this, or did you have to?
It took time, bro. It took time, and I had like a lot of like trauma from like just things that would happen to me, whether I didn't get opportunities, or like a coach I felt like he mistreated me, or like whatever, right? And like I said, it took me time where I had to like literally go through every year everything that I felt. And it took like a year or two, man. Like just with me off and on sitting with myself and just thinking about everything that went on, and like, and when you give yourself that opportunity to feel that, and like I was always the guy too in baseball, you like talk about like a man's game in the sense that like you're not allowed to show emotion. Like if you strike out 4 times or you hit 4 home runs, people should know that you should just be even keel all the time. So, but what happens is that translates into your life too. Now I'm just even keel. I'm not feeling emotions. I'm not like, like a girl can't tell if I like her or not because I'm just so used to being like this. You know what I mean? And you realize how much it affects your life. And I had to allow myself to like feel in that moment. And, like there's tears and there's moments of happiness, but that's just, you reflecting and just being real with yourself. So.
Thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
Absolutely. Freck, anything for anything that you feel like you've achieved that you still feel like is not good enough?
Something like what Dalton said, your career. I don't want to say like I didn't achieve. Like I just feel like I'm at the top of the food chain.
Okay.
And it's like, I'm always trying to get more, always striving for more, and it's just like I just feel like I had enough now, so it's like it's time to move on. So that's pretty much it, just your career for me.
Okay. Tychon? I want to come back to Theon, actually. I have a serious question for him. What? Yourself?
Something that I achieved that I never felt
This
like.
it feels like you still feel like it's not good enough.
Oh, like winning Big Brother. That's like
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't feel like I truly earned it. And why I say that is because it wasn't a goal of mine for a long time. You see how Dalton talks about like making it to professional baseball? It's like he probably wanted to do that for a significant amount of time in his life. Whereas like me winning Big Brother wasn't like I really want to win this thing. It kind of just happened. And then it happens and I feel like, oh, like I don't deserve this. It felt like I got awarded an A, but I didn't really want the A. Then everybody's looking at me to
Be appreciative
behave
of it.
like I got the A,
Right.
but I don't know what to do with this. I'm handed this thing and I don't feel like I deserve it. There's people around me that are like, yo, why do you like? There's people hating who are in it, and it's just like I just didn't know how to process that. I didn't know how to show up. I didn't know how to be. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to navigate that moment. So it's like why I didn't feel good enough at that time is because it was just something that I didn't feel like I truly had earned, and it's like I had to get to a place where I'm just like, yo, I did earn that.
I think you just got thrust into an unknown, bro.
But my thing is,
You know what I mean? Like you did earn it. You just didn't know. Nobody's ever been there before, except for maybe the couple people that won. But you didn't know in that situation what to do.
My thing is though is, if you allow me to shift your perspective in it,
Absolutely.
you've always told me, even the short time we were at university together, well, not short, but the time that we were at university together, that you want to be on TV.
What?
That you want to be on TV.
I said that?
Yes.
Didn't know that.
A ton of times. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I would love to be on TV. Like, I feel like I could do this. I feel like I could do that. You know, you're confident in how you presented yourself, the way you look, anything. So it's like, for you to say that you want to be on TV, and then also say on the flip side that that's something that you didn't think that you ever were wanting or prepared for. I don't know. I just hear it differently, I guess.
I think what I'm hearing is because there's people that were probably on the show that studied the show that felt
Like that particular
I'm
show,
gonna
maybe.
win it,
Okay.
where he most likely felt like
I'm here.
I'm gonna get this 100 bands and I'm off this, and then like when he won, he's like,
He didn't
oh,
even
I
care.
actually won this, like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but no, you are right with that. When you said to Sean, he used to always say that if a camera crew followed us around and we had our own show, that we would blow up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just from our personality. So yeah, it goes back to him saying he just wanted to be on TV.
What were you gonna say, Theo?
First
No,
time
you
I
want to say
forgot.
something. But like I was gonna say, like I didn't feel it as an accomplishment as others looked at it.
Right.
And I think that's what was giving this feeling of like, oh, you guys think this is an accomplishment? I don't know how to feel.
Is it because like you didn't care to be on the show? You didn't like this is not a show that you've studied and watched for years. Is that why you feel that way?
I think it's also because it's like it was like, what does this mean? You get what I mean? Like Dalton wanted to play baseball. He became a baseball player. You are a baseball player overseas. I win a reality TV show. I'm just a winner of a show. Now what? You know what I mean? Like, how do I root my identity in that?
No, I get what you're
You
saying.
know what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying. I just feel
You
like
get what I mean? Like, people sometimes win a show and then they want to become an influencer, but cool, but what does that mean?
So when you went on the show, what did you think? Did you go like, I'm trying to win this game? Or did you just go on the show just to go on the show?
Like, it was a game. I was like, yo, I'm trying to win this game. I'm competitive. I wanna win.
Yeah.
And then I won, and then I was like, oh, like I'm supposed to do something now? And I think it was that part of like,
Got you.
what do I do here?
Got you.
And everybody's looking at you to do something, but you're like, what though? Be an influencer. What does that mean? What do I talk about? What do I say? What do I share? Who am I supposed to be? Who am I supposed to show up as? And that's the part was the mind fuck for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when you could say I'm a basketball player, I always want to be a basketball player.
Yeah.
I'm a basketball player, I know. I go shoot some jump shots, go to the club with some girls, eat some food, get a wife, have a side thing, do whatever I gotta do. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can live that life.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't live that life. What? I can live that life.
Yeah,
It's your life, dog.
You know what I'm saying?
It's your life. It's your life, dog.
You know, but with this, I just didn't feel like I understood my identity with this because I never pictured what this actually would look like.
Well, it's the same as if you go play basketball, right? You're only signing up to play basketball. But then when you become an NBA player, guess what? People know who you are. You're famous. You know, you can't do certain things and you're just being watched. It's the same kind of thing. It's just like you sign up for the game and then after the game's over, you're like people still still want to know what you're doing, how you're supposed to act, following you around. And like that is something you have to learn.
Yeah.
Nobody can teach you that. You just got to go through it.
So my question for you, Juice, with the achievements and things that you've accomplished and then still not being good enough, I hear you talk about basketball, and the way that you speak about it sounds sometimes like there's things that you are still unhappy with, or the way that those things panned out that you maybe haven't wrestled with, or they're untapped in terms of you actually working through them. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't want to answer the question for you or lead you down a way for you to answer something specifically, but even when you explained the story about you with Team Canada, it kind of sounded like there's still things that are unsettling for you.
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like it was just like a life journey. Like I just, like pretty much like you're saying, like, and then what? I just felt like I never really knew how to navigate this. Like, you know what I mean? I started out when I played basketball and it was like, oh, yo, you be a big man. Didn't know how to play basketball, and then kind of just started getting really good at it. But then I never really I felt like I didn't have guidance. I just felt like people that just kind of fed into, oh, you're good, play on my team. Here's money, here's clothes, here's shoes, here's things. I never really had anybody to kind of like hone in on my skills and tell me like, be humble, or this is what you got to do. So I feel like, so a lot of times, like as it relates to basketball, I just feel like I just never reached my, like my ceiling.
Like your true potential?
My true potential. And I think one thing like I was really excited for, like not to like continue to harp on this, but like one thing I was really excited for was like we played AAU, and when we play on bounce, they were really gonna put me in a different school away from everybody I knew in the States, and whatever, one thing happened, I ended up going to another team, and then they brought me to a school with a whole bunch of people that I already knew, with a coach that I already knew. So I never really had anybody to like pour into me and tell me, yo, Theon, you need to do this. Let's train, wake up at this time. So like, I mean, obviously I could point to myself and what I could have done differently, but I just feel like sometimes I never really got to really reach my true potential. I was just good.
I say for myself, achievements that I still don't feel like are enough are kind of echo what Freck says in terms of just like career. I've never really had a plan in terms of what to do. I just knew that I always had a knack of finding a way to make money or make a way for myself. So anything that fell into my lap, if I was good enough at it, I'd engulf myself into it, learn all I can about it, and do it. Like even with barbering, it's something that I could pick little things from people, but nobody actually taught me how to do it. It was self-taught. I'd watch on YouTube. I'd say, okay, this is how you do it. Cool. And teach myself. Or anything like that. When it came to anything that I was a part of, it was something that I just engulf myself in and really sit down and try to really master it. And then from there, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, okay, cool. I'll find something else. But there was never anything, I don't think, other than a basketball at a time where I felt like, okay, cool, this is where I want to be. And even with that, it came to a point where it's like, I'm not as serious about this as other people may be, so maybe I need to change avenues. And even from there, it's like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just feel like when I look at other people's situations and how they have a plan and things of that nature, I always look at myself and be like, yo, is what you're doing even good enough? Even though people will look at what I'm doing and be like, yo, you're working for yourself. Like they'll find solace or they'll find achievement in what I'm doing. But I never look at it like that. And I don't know why I don't, other than the idea of I just never plan to do anything, So that's my answer.
I even feel like for me, on a different note, something that I'm proud of, but I feel like, what was the question again? Sorry.
The achievement that still doesn't feel like enough.
Yeah, I would say like taking university serious.
That's
I
another thing.
think being a student athlete, there's a lot of times that people kind of just, oh, you represent the school, like you can here's this, here's that. And I really feel like it's something I kind of regret, like not fully immersing in being a good student and really applying myself to be better. Because I know that I could have, but I also feel like it led to like me telling myself things like, for example, like I can't speak in front of people, or I don't necessarily deserve to be in university, which that's something that I truly believed at the time too. I think if I didn't play basketball, I would have went, right? So I didn't feel like I actually earned it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into a little bit of this or that. For some of these things here, I have like letting go or staying guarded. How would you guys end up on that? Either side of those things.
I mean, you gotta let go. I think, just like kind of what I've been saying, I think staying guarded gets you nowhere. You're just kind of in a circle, like a never-ending circle, right? And it's easy to do. It's easy to defend yourself and, you know, who you are. And like, you know, when people ask you questions, sometimes it's easy to take it like too seriously, right? And you get defensive. But that's just because you just didn't let go, you know? Like, and I think it doesn't even have to be sport. It could be anything in life. Yeah. I think that keeping yourself guarded over the long term is just detrimental to you, potential relationships with anybody, loving yourself. Like a lot of dudes who don't forgive themselves don't love themselves, because you would forgive yourself over time, you know, and we don't take enough time as men to allow ourselves to, you know, reflect. And I think we just get too proud. Like that's just, you know, what we're taught. Oh, you're a man, you got to be like this, right? You can't show emotion, you got to be hard. But like those are the people suffering the most, right? But it's just being real with yourself, man. Like just sit down and be like, it's okay, you know? And like actually people gravitate towards that, you know, because you allow yourself to feel. People are like, damn, like Theon, look at you, bro. Like, you know, you're open to being vulnerable. Like people will respect that. But I think when you're younger, you just don't see it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and you don't want to be that guy that looks weak, but it's actually not weakness at all, you know?
I was just about to say, my young self would say, stay guarded.
Absolutely.
And I'm standing on business.
Absolutely.
I'm staying guarded. But now, the adult answer is let go.
Yeah. that just comes with age, I feel like, and experience. You know what I mean? When you're young, you're just like, hell no, bro. You know?
I'm still at a point where I feel like even staying guarded. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm at a point where I think staying guarded is my answer, and that's what I'll present to the outside party looking in. But letting go is something that I probably have to do silently. It wouldn't be something that I'd put on display. And yeah, that's probably my most honest answer for.
What do you mean, like go on the low?
Yeah, essentially, like I talk to myself or be by myself and be like, yo, honestly, there's nothing more you could do, and kind of just let it go. But if someone were to ask me or whatever the case is, I'd probably put up some type of defense mechanism to let them know that I'm not at a place of. I don't know. It's probably just what you said, defense.
There's levels to it though. Like that's your first step. You know, like later on you get to different steps where you can openly talk about it. But like when you're first going through it, man, like nobody was gonna hear what I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it to anybody.
Yeah,
especially because when you're at that level, right? People like kind of like look up to you in a way without you even like really wanting it, right? So if you show vulnerability, they're like, damn, like if he's cracking, then like I'm gonna fold. You know what I mean? But like now I know like it should have been the opposite, because those people, that's more relatable for people, right? Because most people want to be guarded, right? They wanted to defend their honor, right? Like who they are as a person, man or woman. But the minute that you say, you know what, you know, I fucked up, they'll be like, oh, that's real.
Him too.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, this guy's on TV and making, you know, X amount of dollars, and guess what? It don't matter. He feels like I feel too, you know, and I think that's huge for people, right? And I like how, you know, TV shows show that now, like with certain celebrities, like they tell you how it is, man, and that's what we need to hear.
It's a fact. When you see like he's human, holy, like
humanizing the character.
Yeah, like he gets sad too, or like he feels like shoot, like I wish I did better. Like, oh shoot, he's just like me. Letting go though. To answer the question, I think of what Dylan said here on one of our episodes where he talks about like how sometimes he talks to himself as if he was talking to his son, and I thought that was very powerful, because sometimes when I hear myself saying things to myself in my head, I'm just like,
how would I tell
would I talk to my son that way? And it's like, I don't have a son, but I wouldn't. And you think about it and you're just like, yeah, like if your son made a mistake, you would probably be like, you know what, you made a mistake, but like let it go, like move on, it's okay. but we don't do that to ourselves.
I heard Terry Crews say the same thing. Like he says he has like a picture of himself at like 6 years old, and he looks at it and he's like, "Would I call this person an idiot? No." Right? But that's him. Like, we're just men, so we talk to ourselves a certain way. But his 6-year-old kid is him. Would you call yourself stupid or like, you know, I'm an idiot? Like, no, man. Like, it's the same thing with if you would talk to yourself how you would talk to your son. It's the same thing. I think that's very powerful too.
I have a question for you. I feel like you speak like very deeply about like as somebody that's done the work. Like, did you do therapy, or is this something that you kind of fell on, like just through your self journey, like you said, in that 2-year period?
It's a combination of everything. It was a combination of therapy. I had life coaches, just different avenues and people I could talk to. But the real work, they just kind of, I feel like they gave me the tools to do it, but you still got to do it. You know what I mean? Like the homework that you got to do for yourself. And it's just like a lot of soul searching, man. Like it's just a lot of like, you know, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. Talking to people, you know, especially like in policing now, because you see like, you know, some of the worst, right? So it gives you real perspective on like what I went through. Is it really what they're going through? And you know, I try to offer that outlet to them, but it also, you know, it's like self-talk at the same time, right? And like I said, it took me years to do it, man. It doesn't happen like this. People think, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna be way better. No, like it's a constant thing. But when you do put that work in, man, I can tell you how rewarding it is. Like I just feel like so free now. Like I just feel like
you, when I hear you speak, you feel like light, like you know what I mean? Like you forgive anything that you've done in the past to make, and you're happy with who you are right now.
Yeah, I just don't carry that baggage anymore, right? It's just like, why am I looking back in the past, right? Well, what is it going to do for me now? Maybe some lessons I can learn, but at the end of the day, I got to move forward. Like one of my old coaches says, you can't walk in a straight line when you look backwards. Like, it's hard, man. You know? So it's facts, man. Like some of these things that they just kind of stick with you. And, but like everybody's on their own journey, so.
I have a question for the room. Why are we as men so heavily based on performance culture? And what I mean by that is the idea of we're only as good as our last performance. If we win, we lose, whatever the case, that is the basis for our identity. Why is that something that we carry?
Because we live in a result-based society. It's all about numbers. It's all about what you do for me lately. This is what it is, right? These are just facts on a paper, right? But they don't always show the intangibles in life, right? Like the hustle, the smart play that you made. They don't show up on the stat sheet, but guess what? You should carry that as like a win, but we just don't do it. So it's definitely performance based. But you know, to go back to sports, I remember I had like a terrible game, and my coach was like, "Hey, he's like, Dawg, I heard you did 3 things well today. You stole a base, you scored a run, and you took that walk on that pitch you wanted to swing at you, but you didn't." And I was like, yeah, but I still didn't play well. He's like, well, if you look at it like every day, if you do 3 good things, you earned your paycheck today. You did good. You did something productive to help the team. And then when you take that thought into your own life, like, what did I do to productive? I held the door open for somebody. You know, like this is so simple, but you know, the person says thank you, or like they're carrying their groceries and you just try to help them out. Like these are little things that in your life that you can take as positives instead of dwelling on negative, because we live in a negative society where people just dwell that you could do a million things right, but the one thing you do wrong just stands out to them. You know what I'm saying? So, but these are all things that you need to learn for yourself. And like, we all got to go through it. And it's just perspective based. And it turns those dark days into better days, you know?
What's the question again?
I said, why are we so heavily based in men ourselves are so heavily based in a performance-based culture? Like what we look at things to be, if we win, if we lose, that's kind of who our identity is.
Because performance is what you can show, right? I think as men, it's like we rank ourselves by status a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And status is based on what you can show, which is why like you'll see a lot of men, they want a nice car versus a nice house. Because you can't rip off your door from your house and show everybody, oh, you guys see my house over here? But when you pull up with your nice car, that gives you status and impresses women and impresses. Men also like to impress men. They don't like to say it, but it's like, yeah, you want men to look at you like, oh, okay, big dog, how'd you get that? Oh, yeah. Like, that's what we do. And it's like, it's a status thing. So we perform so that we're respected by other men. And that a lot of times that women are attracted to us. And I think that's kind of that's kind of the game that we play. That's why we perform. That's what we're taught our value comes from.
Is that a hindrance to us at the same time? Just because, it's kind of an obvious answer. I think it is, but the reason I ask is because we are also looking to women to not judge us based on the things that we can show, right? So we're looking to, we want women to see us for us. We want women to see us as humans too, or people that have feelings, or, I'm doing the best that I can. Like you said, the intangibles. But then we live to the standard of the status or the performance base. So how do we overcome that idea? Or is that just something that's built into our socialism?
To be honest, like from my perspective,
No.
I see, to be honest, from my perspective, it's a little bit of both. Sometimes I think like you have to act something in the beginning sometimes to be able to fully step into it. And sometimes it's for example, a job interview. You'll go out, you put on a tie and talk in this voice and do all the things. Then when you get the job, you can start learning to be either the person that needs to fit that job, but you have to perform in order to get your foot in the door. And I think sometimes in relationships, you put your best foot forward, which sometimes can feel like a performance in order for you to get to the door. The problem is some people keep the performance on for too long. And your whole life becomes a performance. Then you're acting every day. You come on as this guy who can buy her this and do that and shower her gifts, and you have this big chain swinging. Meanwhile, the chain's fake, watch is fake. You know what I mean? Like, you did the most and you can't keep it going. Whereas it's better you just put your best foot forward and be like, honestly, baby, I was trying to impress you, but look, this is the situation, and rock with that. But a lot of people don't do that. They try to keep on the performance. A lot of men lose hair trying to keep it performance.
That's facts.
That's a fact. You were going to say?
Yeah, I just feel like we're taught to be competitors. We look at somebody else's success, like, I gotta get to that level. And but what I'll say is, you said, how can we overcome it? I'm like, to be honest with you, I'm sitting here listening to you speak, and I'm like blown away, because I feel like if I'm thinking of how to get to the level of like beyond this being competitive, being like wanting to like win, it's like where you are right now. Like, I feel like you're very like at peace with yourself, and it doesn't matter what the outside noise or anybody's saying. Like, you're you, and that's what it is.
Yeah. You just compete with yourself, man. Like, it's just me against me, right?
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying too is just, it is facts, right? Like, if you want a girl's attention, you got to be able to separate yourself. But it's also about being real with yourself. Like, if I can't keep up, I can't keep up, But at first, women need to realize that, like, that's the only way. Like, if there's 10 of us in a room, who's going to stand out? The guy, who looks fly versus the guy who dresses like a bum? No, the guy, he needs to open his mouth first. But the initial is off of, like, what they see, right? But that always isn't a reflection of who that person is. And I think that when you start to realize, you know what I mean? Like, the right people are going to come around you into your life. If you are this specific person, then you attract what you really want. But, a lot of times too, if you're wearing all that ice and shit, those aren't the women that you really, really want. Yeah. Let's be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the no offense to the women that might watch this, that dress like that. but it just facts though, man. It's just like, those are the ones, like, they might look good, but like, in the grand scheme of things, like, they might not be like potential mothers of your kids, whatever, right? But like, that's just real talk. I've lived that life too, right? Sometimes you pick the wrong ones, sometimes you pick the right ones. But you just got to go through it.
That's a fact. And to your point, like, when I say performance sometimes too, like, my girl's always been big on this with me. And she's always saying, like, when you go out, like, look presentable. Like, don't look like a bum when you go out, because it's like, you never know who you can meet, and you never know what. That's not normally me. But, like, from some of the things that I've seen come from dressing nicer and just me being more presentable, it's like, oh, like, me performing at this level, it's like people take you more seriously. And it's like, it presents better opportunities for you. So that was a place where I saw, like, just putting a little bit of performance. Like, I don't want to wear a collared shirt with some joggers to go downstairs and do some work. But it's like, the conversations you have, the interactions you make, they could go that much further just because you change your outfit a little bit. You take it a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
Is it true that forgiveness requires rebuilding the identity you once had of yourself? I'm toss the freck. I haven't heard freck in a bit.
Repeat the question.
Is it true that forgiveness requires rebuilding the identity you once had of yourself?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to like
Loud that out.
bit.
Okay.
You know, I feel like Dion can answer this question.
You really throwing loud. Yes. I think I'm still on my journey of forgiving myself for things that I have done or haven't done. But yeah, I think it's important because it's forgiving yourself is almost like changing the language that you're using towards yourself, and seeing yourself in a different light. So, I mean, if I'm still that old person, then how can I ever move forward? If that makes sense.
I think when it comes to just relevance of this question, I think you don't have to necessarily rebuild the identity. You just have to be okay and understanding that that's not the only one that you have, right? So limiting yourself to the one identity that you are is where the real issue lies. So the forgiveness that you are not only that identity, cool, but also living and understanding that you're okay, knowing that that's not the only identity that you possess, I think is what I would say to answer.
I agree with that. I think we have multiple identities, right? And you accumulate identities over time, right? So when you're a kid, you have an identity. When you're in elementary school, then high school, you have an identity. Then when you get out of high school, go to university, you have an identity. Then when you go out and you might do sports, you have an identity. Then after sports, these are always people that might say, hey, I remember you from high school, right? But like that person that they remember isn't who you are now, but it's still who you were at that moment.
Right.
So that's still your identity, even though it's changed a little bit.
Exactly.
So it's not really rebuilding, it's more like adding to it. Like over the courses of our lives, we're gonna turn into different people, right? Even as we get older, our views are gonna change. What we like and what we don't like is gonna change. So now our identity changed again. Yeah. So I think it's not so much of like thinking of it as like rebuild. It's more like adding to.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, same. I think there's like a kind of what you're saying, like you kind of have to be dynamic with it. I was talking to my therapist again about this yesterday, and she was saying how like I'm sacrificing my own values to be successful a lot of times. I was like, what do you mean by that? She's like, you believe that like you have to work in this dungeon, no vacations, no eating out, no having any fun in order to be successful. And she's like, you're losing yourself in order to try to gain the thing that you want. And she's like, you're losing your whole identity by this. And she's like, you have to change what success looks like for you. And success a lot of times for me is just like freedom. It's being able to go on a trip or have lunch with my friends or go play ball or go skiing in the middle of a Tuesday. Like that's what success is to me. And that's like, I'm changing who I am to get a version of success that I think I want. So I say all that to say is like, we have to just be dynamic in our identity. Like success can look like this, but also like that. And it's like throughout our lives, we are a lot of different people, and we can step into those different characters when it suits us for that moment.
Like imagine you saw your old friend from like elementary school. You're gonna act different how you remember how it was when it was back then than you are now.
That's a fact.
Right? So just like allowing yourself to do what you're saying. But also like I think what people misunderstand is the word sacrifice. Like sacrifice doesn't mean losing yourself.
That's
you know, like it means like, yeah, there might be a time where you should go to this party and you know what, I'm gonna stay in because I got this important meeting. That's sacrificing, but that's not saying I shouldn't go on this trip. I shouldn't spend this money because I don't want this or whatever. That's completely the opposite of what people make it out to be.
I thought sacrifice said me and you, babe, we're sitting in the dark for 6 months in this dungeon here.
Until we get what we want.
Till we get what we want.
Yeah.
And that's like a very man version of sacrifice.
Absolutely.
And I had to think about it for a second. And she's like, "What is freedom one of your values?" Yes. Is that freedom? No. But I'm like, but I gotta sacrifice. She goes, sacrifice doesn't mean that. Sacrifice could mean like, okay, we'll go to less dinners, or we might go to less things, or we might go to spend a little bit less money. But like losing your whole self in order to get to this place, it's like you might not even get to that place. You'll never be happy.
It's true. It's facts.
Dalton, I have a question for you specifically. Do you think that athletes struggle more with self-forgiveness because their worth is measured publicly?
Yeah, for sure. I think You know, it's like professional sports is such a weird place because it's like you're competing with yourself, but you're competing with your teammates and like other people in the league, and it's always like, you know, it's so weird. Like you cheer for your teammates, but then it's just like, you know, if they don't do as good, you know you're gonna get more opportunities, and they know if you don't do as good, they get more opportunities. So it's like
It's restless.
It's just like never ending. And then you add, you know, family dynamics, media, especially like Toronto, like you play for a whole country for playing with the Jays, right? So it's just constantly, you're just constantly being watched and like judged based off of what you're doing in that moment. And like certain athletes, it depends, right? If you're the star of the team, you got more rope than the average guy, right? Versus like the role player, you know, you go in there, you step in there to fill a void, and then you don't play well that game. Now I'm going home, I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna play tomorrow, you know? And you start to lose that edge in the sense that like you really question everything that you've done. Oh, did I hit enough in the cage? Did I do enough like here on the field? Like was I prepared? Like you start to question everything. And it's just such the opposite of like growing up and like actually enjoying like as a kid. Like this is, you know, this is a game. Like we play a game, but once you start adding, you know, money into the equation and stuff, it just changes the whole dynamic.
You spoke on playing for Canada's team. What is that pressure like? Is it like, I mean, again, I could only imagine even just phrasing it that way, but versus going to another team and that same, I guess, pressure wouldn't be there.
Like if you go play for like the Yankees, you're only playing for like a city or like, you know, a state, but you're not playing for a country. And a lot of guys that I play with didn't understand that, right? When we'd go to like, I was telling you, when we went to New Brunswick and Newfoundland, like you see there's fans there, right? But like you only see the people in the stadium, or like we went to Vancouver and like coast to coast, like you see people. When you're talking to Sportsnet or whatever, Sports Center, you're talking to everybody across Canada. Yeah. And they know who you are. So like it's a good and a bad thing, right? It's just like it feels good to be known and like people know who you are. But at the same time, it's just like there's that added pressure that like you are playing for everybody in this whole country, and like even the Raptors too. Not so much hockey because they got each individual cities. But you really feel it, right? And like especially like they were just in the playoffs, World Series, right, and stuff, and like you just the magnitude of the situation was just different than if I went and played for, you know, Oakland.
Yeah.
Like, the only people who care about the team is there, right? So it's actually less stress. Like I felt more stress, and especially because I grew up in Saga, right? So like I've always felt like, you know, that hometown, you know, I have to be this person for the youth, and I have to like move a certain way, and then I just found myself, it just becomes overwhelming. There's only so much like somebody can take. But like I said, like I've got over those demons and stuff. But playing for a country, it's a beautiful thing, but it's also mad stressful too, man.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Holy.
I got one for you, because I know everybody wants to know.
Come on now.
So I played softball. Sometimes the ball is hard to hit. You played baseball. I went to the batting cages. I think it went up to like 65 miles per hour. I know you see that ball coming in fast, 199.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah.
That was actually, it was like 50, and I couldn't hit it.
Yeah, dude,
right?
yeah.
So I can only imagine that ball coming like 90 at 100.
Oh yeah.
Tell us, how hard is it to hit that ball?
I mean, I will say that you can't just go from like hitting 50 to 100. Like this is like a progression, right? Like you got to see velocity over and over. Like baseball's repetition. Like if I continue to see it, then I'll have a better chance to hit it. But just because I've seen it many times doesn't mean I'm gonna hit it, right? Like and the worst part is when these fans are like, "Oh, you suck." I'm like, "Bro, you try hitting it. I'll hand you the bat. You go do it, bro."
So my
you know
sister,
what I mean? Straight up.
My sister played softball, so she pitched. I think her highest was like in the 70s area. Right?
But they also throw from closer.
Yeah, but the slow pitch, like you know, an underarm joint. So even trying to hit off her, damn near impossible.
Yeah.
So in hearing what Freck just explained, they say that is probably one of the hardest things in sports, if not the hardest
100% it is, dude.
Yeah.
They say you can't see it. You got to guess it. It's like, yo, I'm swinging at this one, and this is what we're doing. If I make contact, I make contact. But I mean, with repetition, it becomes better, like you were explaining. But
Well, they say like if you blink, it's in the glove. Like
So
by the time you release
stare.
so like there's like the whole science behind it. Like we have like 0.2 seconds to react, and then like even then like when you start your swing when it's 0.2 seconds away, as I start, that's when I make contact. So what I'm doing is that repetition of me seeing a ball go out of a certain window at a certain trajectory, I'm basically guessing it's gonna land in this spot. That's why you'll see guys on TV, they'll swing a ball in the dirt that wasn't even close because their mind's telling them that they thought it was going to go here. But you have like this much of a second to react.
Impossible.
It's actually said to be impossible. And I don't even know how you do it, how we did it.
Yeah.
And it's only got more difficult. Like it just, but that's why you got to be real with yourself. And you know what? You go out and like, I sucked that day, but guess what? The pitcher's getting paid millions of dollars too. And you know what? I'm doing something that's impossible. But you don't think of it like that. You think of it like, man, I've been doing this so long. What the hell am I doing? Whatever. And it's just like, you just got to go through it though. But you got to be just cool with yourself, man. Like when I used to shower at the end of the game, I used to like, that would wash away like everything that happened that day. And like now I'm just Dalton the person. I used to take the games home. Now I'm an asshole if I had a bad game to my friends, or I don't want to talk to them, or, you know, I don't want to do fun things because I'm miserable what happened. Or I'm happy-go-lucky because I hit 2 home runs or whatever. It shouldn't be like that. Mm-hmm. So once you realize that you got to separate like your identity, that identity of me as a baseball player to me as a person, and then your life just, it feels so much better.
That's what I was about to ask you too, but I think you kind of summed it up. So when like the person told you suck, knowing that I know how hard it is to hit, you know how hard it is, how did that make you feel?
Oh, in the moment you're just hot, you're boiling, right? You're like, yo, you take the bat, you go do it. Honestly, because like it's easy for people, and I saw it some days I was injured, like I'd sit in the stands, and like you just hear the shit people are saying. Oh, this guy's so, I don't know why he's on TV. But the minute that they meet you, they're like, oh my God, so hot, so nice to meet you. Like I love you so much. I have your jersey. Like, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. But like it's easy because people pay money to these events, so they have an opinion, which you do, but you have to also understand how hard it is in any sport too. Like I'm not just gonna sit here because I know baseball's hard. I could go probably score a bucket in the NBA. I probably can't. Like, let's be honest. They always say, oh, you can, 5 tries to run 5 yards in the NFL. Oh, I probably can't do that. Like, let's be honest. These guys are doing what they're doing because they're just high level, high skilled, been doing it forever. You have to show that appreciation for what they're doing. And I think people kind of lose that aspect.
I definitely lose it for the NBA.
Yeah.
Some nights I look at it and be like, yeah, no. That guy, me and him.
Especially if you got a parlay or something, bro. It's bad,
I think that's ruined sports, personally. So question for the room. Okay, there's a couple questions. Okay, what dream did you quietly bury but never fully forgave yourself for?
Repeat the question.
What dream did you quietly bury but never fully forgave yourself for?
You have an answer?
Nah, gang. I just told you I don't plan. I just told you I don't plan nothing. Nah, but I think for myself, it would be, I'm trying to narrow it down. It would be, like, I think even still, it's still something that's here. Like, it's still something that I probably could do. It's just, I don't give myself the credit to go ahead and do it. I think it's such a big hurdle. It would be, I know this is not where I want to live forever or end up being forever, but because I am ultimately just scared of it, or the calculated risks I don't quite map out, I never take the chance to just take a leap of faith and actually go ahead and move from here. I don't think Canada is where or Toronto even is where I want to be. And more reasons pop up and things of that nature. And again, there's nothing really here that holds me here, other than the idea of I just haven't mapped it out. But that's something that I keep burying. It's like, you know what, just go through it. We're fine. We'll do whatever. But I'll never take the leap of faith, and I've never figured out as to why, or actually just go ahead and doing it.
It's not too late, no.
But yeah, I think that would be mine.
I never knew that.
I'm kind of resentful. You said you have nothing tying you. We're not tying you here.
No. I think if I found a spot over there,
You're zooming in.
you guys can follow. I'm not gonna lie to you. You guys can come forward. I wouldn't lie to you. But even in that, it's like,
Is there a spot in mind that you
yeah,
Jamaica,
name
a
three?
few, gang.
Name three.
Portmore,
Where?
Kingston.
Like no, wherever.
I'm saying 3 where? Where you want me to name them?
Tell me where. You're three.
Brother, it could be anywhere. Like, I don't know if I would
Ochi.
majority of the time be in Jamaica.
So like you're saying,
but
an
I know
island
places.
or something, or
No, I wouldn't have to be there. It could be Florida. It could be
Okay.
Houston. It could be.
is there somewhere it's hot? You're pretty much saying,
Same time.
or does it have to be hot?
Doesn't have to be hot. It could be the same as here. But it's just I don't think Toronto, Canada is or the GTA is where I would reside for the rest of my life. There's a couple other places. Yeah, I would love to call home. But like yeah, it wouldn't be.
What's your number one spot?
If I had to choose one, no issues.
No issues.
Dubai.
Who?
Dubai.
Okay.
Have you been there?
Never.
You got to go there first, bro.
I've been to the Middle East, but never Dubai.
You went to Turkey?
No.
I'm about to say, take your hat off. I'm gonna check right now.
Okay, I'm blessed. I'm neat. I don't have no problems. But in terms of why there, it's just like I feel like in all aspects of evolution, money, whatever you could look at, they just get it. They just try. They do things. They're not scared. It's just the practice of doing.
Yeah.
There's
I think you got to go there and experience it for yourself because I've been there, and I feel like they just copy everybody else's stuff. Like they're just like they don't really have their own identity. Like they're kind of like the Vegas of the Middle East, but like you can't drink really publicly, and you can't the gambling, nothing, right? It's a very safe place. But I always say it to people: either you're gonna go there and you're gonna love it, or you're gonna not want any part of it.
Okay.
But you got to go and experience it for yourself because everybody's different.
Right.
Like my brother loved it, and I'm like, I'm
Same
good
partial.
to not go
Yeah.
back there. Just go there first, see it, feel it out, map it out, and then make your decision. Because it seems like a great place. We went for F1 like years ago, and we had a great time. But do I see myself living there? Probably not. But I know friends that moved out there, so they have a different experience.
Yeah, my experience is I think it's a great place to make money.
Yeah.
But to live there permanently, something feels soulless about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that too. I get
It's
that.
like Vegas. It's like people live here. Like that's the kind of feeling you get. Like, people actually live here. Like I feel like you go there, make your money, and say, okay, I'm going where I really want to go. But like Dubai, but I see why you'd want to move there. It's a gorgeous city. It's a great.
They just do.
Everything's possible there.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Come to Dubai, Habibi. That's what they say.
Yeah, big T. Yeah.
A dream. I never forget. What was the question?
What dream did you quietly bury but never fully forgave yourself?
Honestly, I don't have one. Like I feel like I honestly just believe like anything's still possible at where I'm standing right now. And the dream that I forgave myself for was going to the NBA. I really thought I was gonna go. I really believed it. But I forgave myself for that. Like I don't think I quietly buried it. It was just like, yo, it's not gonna happen, so it's all good. But yeah, I just think so many things are so possible. So you just gotta see it that way.
Yeah.
But I just think like
I agree with you. And then I'm like, what do I look like not believing that everything's possible? And I'm like raising my kids right now, trying to tell them like anything's possible for them. So I gotta lead and live by example, right? So I don't really have anything that I would say that I particularly quietly buried. I think that whatever I put my mind to is possible.
one thing I will say though, based on what I'm hearing, is like fortune does favor the bold.
Phew, boy.
So it's like sometimes you gotta really take a risk and not know how it's gonna work out because it's something that you want.
Yeah. Fred, don't escape me, doc. Don't escape me. What's one dream?
I'm here thinking of them. I don't really have any. Like I could say the NBA, but we all,
At some point
thought
thought it, yeah.
about the NBA. But it's like,
You thought you were going?
yeah, that was nice. And then when I unleashed the true potential, it was too late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I really don't really have any dreams that I have buried yet because I don't feel like my story's over. You know what I mean?
Was it-
It's still going?
With both of you saying that, the NBA, was it actually a true dream or just something that you aspired because you were doing it?
No, I think mine was. I don't know. I can't speak for Tychon, but I think mine was actually a true dream. But then reality starts kicking in, and I'm like, oh, that guy's nice, and
Yeah, but did you try it though? Because like you know, bro. Like I know who you are in terms of working hard. Do you feel like you gave everything you could in terms of playing basketball?
yes. But now here's the kicker. I got injured a lot, right? So but this guy laughed. You know the crazy part is for me it was like every time I got injured, it's like I felt they say it's like a step back to take 2 steps forward.
Right.
And I don't feel like I was taking those 2 steps forward. It's like I took a step back, sprained my
Stayed
ankle
there.
again.
Stayed
The next ankle is like I'm still here. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, and then when I felt like I was fully healthy and I felt great and I was playing great, it's like who's watching me playing men's leagues?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like.
I know some things I went.
No,
pro off
but I'm
men's.
saying if I had stayed healthy the way I was playing that year in men's league, and
Right.
that full year, I like anything would have been possible. You know what I mean? I just don't. For me, it's like I always been hurt and I always been playing with injury, so I never was like 100% like giving it my all because I couldn't.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Sean, were you with the NBA? Did you feel like you gave everything you could to get there?
I think knowing what I know, but at the time,
You felt like it.
I felt like I did because I don't think, like, as Theon talked about a little bit earlier, I don't think we really knew what it took to get there. And I don't think anybody truly, like, loved us, guided us, put their arm around us, said, hey, son, you need to put up 500 jumpers every morning.
But we knew though.
You knew, but, like, where are you putting up these jumpers?
It's methodical.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I know what you mean.
There are
But
some
like,
people that were saying, "Oh, you should do that," but it's not like you had an example of anybody doing that.
Now there's so many guys in the league. You see their workouts.
that's not true. I can give you guys a couple. Anyway.
What I'm saying is, like, it's so prevalent now where it's like, not to say it's easier. I don't ever want to say getting there is easier, but I think
More opportunities.
I think there's a little bit more opportunity, and it's more clear that it's possible. Where at the time, it was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
that I can agree
It
with.
was almost like far fetched. Like you really want to go, but nobody really
How possible,
went.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
Who was
I
in the
get it.
league? Steve Nash and Jamal McGlure and
No, I get it. I guess I'm alluding to is, for me speaking on it, I love basketball. I still love basketball. In terms of me playing it and giving it my all, I knew I didn't. And even at that time, knew I wasn't because there were people that were out there doing it. Like, for example, I know a guy named Jermaine Myers. He was with his dad at the Y. They have a Y membership. They were putting up shots early. They put up shots midday. They put up shots late. I knew he had aspirations to go to the same place I wanted to go, but I wasn't working as hard as that was. I didn't even want to work as hard as he did. You see what I'm saying? So I came to the realization early, like, you know what, maybe I don't want it as bad as other people do. So you got to live it, breathe it, sleep it, like all these type of things. And I just wasn't. So I came to the realization really early, like the NBA was something that was not only far-fetched, but something that I also kept far. Like I didn't make it any closer because I wasn't trying to work at it either.
you know what stands out in your story from that though is the mentorship. Somebody said, "Hey, son."
But I can give you another example then.
No, I know what you're saying, but like that's what stands out to me. Somebody being there for you, saying you can go here, and here's what you need to do, and I will help you and support you.
Because I can like speak to the other side of that. Like Jermaine had that, but then you know what I mean. Like for somebody like me, like I went to like high level camps that were like big name NBA players were there. So I mean, I believed I was going to the NBA.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing that.
Exactly. I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So on the other side of that, it's like, yeah, you could see that, but I wasn't doing that, and I felt like I could still make it.
And like hearing your story, it actually made me sad when I never thought of it like that. How you described it was almost like, it's almost like everybody kind of used you in a way. It was like, come just play on my team to make us good. But no one was like, yo, here, Theon, like,
I can excel you.
I'm going to really help you get to where you go because I care about you. And that actually makes me really sad to think of like
Well, that's
a
today's
world
program,
of
man.
coaches
It's today's program.
never actually was like, yo, Theon, like, I want to see you win regardless if you're on my team or not, or you help us win.
Yeah, like, and even off camera, like I told Freck, I was like, yo, like, let's coach together, because I think it's so important that you invest in these kids in the proper way. Like, yeah, it's great to have them on your team, but to show somebody actually what it takes, I think it's so important because it trickles into so many parts of their lives. And like, again, it sucks I didn't have that had tastes of like what it felt like, and I think one of the things that always I never kind of forgave myself, but it's not necessarily just me, but I was like, I was here, but if I had that kind of push or somebody that was like really
Could have gone further along.
could have gone way further. There's nobody could tell me any different, bro. Some of the top players that I played against and did what I did, and not even having somebody being like, yo, let's break down film. I only broke down film when I got to university. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it was timing too? Like timing and like people vouching for you? Because you need people in your corner, I feel like.
I
when you
think
get
I
to a
definitely
certain
had
level.
people vouch for me. I mean, like, I definitely played in gyms where I've, like, people were like, oh, who the hell is this guy? I've played in tournaments, like prominent tournaments, and been like honorable mentions and all-stars for the tournament. I played in, you name it. But I just feel like, yeah, like, I just feel like I think you said it best. I feel like people just was like, oh, here's some money, or here's some clothes, here's some shoes, play on my team. But it was never like, how can
Put
we
this work in, and how can we get you to the
how
next
can we
level?
help you? And that's why I think it's so
yeah.
important, and that's why I reached out to you. It was like, yo, we got, like, I would love, like, for the longest time I said I would never jump back into basketball, but like seeing you do your thing and knowing how important it is and being able to be that change where it's not just about, oh, this kid's family makes $1 million, they'll pay me XYZ to train them and do that. Nah, like, we're gonna put in the work and teach you the tangible things to make you better.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I stepped in, even though I'm helping my son. Side note, but no, like when you sit down, you can only sit down in the stands for so long, and just watch the kids be taught the wrong way. And then it's like, okay, are they being taught that way, or are they just doing it? And then when you hear somebody say something, you're like, all right, enough of this. I'm gonna actually like show them. And a lot of kids don't know because they're just not being taught right, and they're not being guided in the right direction, right? And then it's like it hinders their development, right? And then that's why they stay stagnant with a lot of these kids. So that's why I was like, you know what? Let me try to help out as much as I can. That's when I stepped in, and it seemed like from if they're watching, they love it, but behind closed doors, they might say that guy's an asshole, right? Because I don't sugarcoat it. I give it to them how it is, right? So that's gonna lead me into the question that I want to ask you, Dalton. Who was guiding you? Who was mentoring you to bring you up to that level of getting to where you got to?
I think what you're saying is right, like trying to give back, but they always told us like, players make the MLB, not teams, right? So what happens is these kids need to want to go that extra mile. They have to want to show you that they want it themselves, because you could want it for them as a coach, but if they don't want it, then they're never going to get there, right? We could always tell them, hey, look, you got the talent to do it, but you got to be the person to do it. You got to be the person that goes to the gym and puts up 500 shots, right? To even give yourself a chance, right? And a lot of people be like, I can't do that, or I don't want to do that. Well, then that's up to you to decide, right? But like as a coach, when you coach a team, you invest in all the players, but then you'll see certain players that will come out and do the extra work. Like for me, my story is I actually didn't even think I was ever gonna play in the MLB. Like I was in grade 11, going into grade 12, I was like 5'7", I was chubby, I was whatever, it wasn't fast, nothing. But I worked hard. Like I loved the grind. I loved going to the cage by myself, like hitting off the machine by myself. Working on my game, that was just me time. That was my alone time. And I had one coach who always seen this, and I wasn't playing on a very good team at the time, but I was one of the better players. And he said, look, I got you an invite to this open MLB tryout, right? And I never tried out for MLB. I didn't even have a scout from university watch me yet. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll go. And I always had that mindset, like I played with guys who were on the national team, and I was like, man, like I'm just as good as them. I just need an opportunity. But because I played on this bad team, I never really got one. Long story short, I go to this MLB tryout camp. I'm the best player there. The national team coach puts me on the team, and it's February 28th, and the draft's in 3 months. I go on these trips. We go like Dominican, Florida. We're playing against pros. I'm like the best player there. I've never seen 95 miles an hour, and somehow I could hit it. Just like, you know what I mean? Like the fastest I seen was maybe 80, 85, and I'm hitting like 95. And I'm shocked at myself. And then 3 months later, I get drafted by the Jays. And like, everybody's like, oh, congratulations. I'm like, this is just like crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like all I wanted to do was get a scholarship. I just wanted to, so my parents didn't have to pay for university. I get drafted, and then, you know, I decide, you know what, it's the Jays, I'm going to try. And in my mind, I was like, if I can play for 4 years, it's worth it, because it'd be the same as if I went to college. And then, you know, I start to see, you know, I'm playing against guys who, I got drafted the 16th round, and back then there was 50. So I'm playing against guys, you know, first, second round, you kind of like perform it, you measure yourself up. You're like, oh, this guy just got $3 million. Let's see how I stack up. And I was just as good. Then it motivated me to put more work in, to separate myself, right? And what a lot of kids don't realize is how mental sports is, right? Like, it's just like the mental side of it is more important than the physical side. Because when you get to a certain level, everybody's talented. Everybody in the MLB is talented, but what separates the great players from the not so good players? It's the mental. It's about being able to separate things, able to understand film or understand tendencies, you know, how they're pitching me, or, you know, what I'm supposed to do in this situation. They are just more elite at that. And that's what makes them better, right? And like, as you go up the ladder, especially in the minor leagues, which is a grind, that's a story for another day. But you really start to, you know, see, is this possible, right? Because there's guys who you play with that you're like, man, you're good, but you just can't put it together. And every level you go up from A ball, double A, triple A, it's always the best players that are going up. So when you actually see yourself, it wasn't until I got to double A and I had success, I was like, damn, like I could do this, right? But I had coaches that I could depend on, that I like had my back, that vouched for me in a room that I wasn't in. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's struggling. They always say they're one time in your career, they're gonna have two players. You're gonna be one of them, and somebody's gonna either cut you or they're gonna keep you. And the coaching staff is the people that keep you, because they're the ones that say, you know, everybody's gone and he's still in there. He's still in there working on his game and he's doing this stuff. So you have those people you lean on, and those are the people that push you, right? But each person's gonna have their own person. And I was just lucky I had a couple along the way, and you know, they had my back through it all. And like, even there's one coach specifically. I remember I was struggling really bad, and I went to his hotel room and I was crying. Like, I was bawling, because I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm lost, man. And he put his arm around me. He's like, we're going to get out of this. We're going to do this together. And like, day by day, step by step, he pulled me out of that. But like, I was just blessed to have somebody like that. Not all of us get that, right? And he invested in me as much as I invested in him. And then when I got there, you know, I told his kids, I'm like, man, like, the reason why I did what I did is because of your dad. You know, like, I had to go up and hit, but he was the one after every at bat telling me, hey, this is what happened. Let's try this next time. Okay, let's, like, you need people like that. You don't just, these guys at this high level, you don't just get there by yourself. As much as they say you do, somebody's there, has got your back, and is pushing you silently in the shadows. So,
I don't know.
It's important, because like, even to go back to basketball, like, I won't say what team, but we were on a team and our coaches like paying us for hitting threes and dunking. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere else. What do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? As a kid's mindset,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go play on a different team where they're going to make me run suicides. You know what I mean? But there's a guy that was younger on our team. He ended up making the NBA. Because guess what? He wasn't getting paid. He wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? He had a different kind of experience with where he's like, okay, now I got to measure up to these guys. And ultimately,
Yeah.
it worked
He's
for him.
a late bloomer too, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I got cut from 3 baseball teams and I was the only one to make the MLB. So just because that's how you start doesn't mean that's where you're going to end up, right? But it's just like, but he grew that hunger, I guarantee you, from not playing on those teams.
Oh, 100%.
When he's not playing, he's not getting paid, bro. You're sitting at the end of the bench, just getting splinters in your ass.
I just want, I want to hit 1 3 and get a chance, coach. You know what I mean?
Facts,
Like,
bro. Facts, you know? But it is what it is.
Yeah, so just some takeaways from this episode here that we have is shame keeps us stuck. Self-forgiveness is not a weakness. Healing yourself changes how we show up for others. And forgiving yourself doesn't erase the past, it releases the sentence. Yeah, just some little minor call to action stuff that we have. Tychon, if you have anything for the men's night.
It's guys' night. Last Thursday of every month. Pull up. We don't have this month's theme yet.
Yeah.
We're still working through that, but we love to see you guys show up. But I think like this episode really offers everybody to ask the question to themselves, like, what haven't I forgiven myself for? Or where could I forgive myself? How can I talk to myself if I was talking to my 6-year-old self? And I think like there's a lot of power in asking yourself those questions.
Absolutely. Well, Dalton, thank you for You know what I mean? Joining in with us. And
Yeah, man.
you said some
Anytime.
powerful stuff, bro.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff I didn't even think about, bro.
Yeah, it's just different perspective, bro. It's just things that I learned, and I'm just trying to share it with anybody who's willing to listen. That's all.
Appreciate
You
you,
be
bro.
your flowers, bro. You speak so profound, and I think this is a real, like, especially for athletes, is a really good episode for people to see, like, to forgive themselves and do the work.
Before it's too late. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So some of us, it's too late, but not for everybody, right? So hopefully if I can help a kid out, then I'm here to do it.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
So, remember to like, comment, subscribe, little button here. Hit that. From us to you guys. See you then.
See ya.